When Mike caught me on camera coming into the office, it gave me an idea. He said he saw me coming. Well, I'm going to make a series of short videos for my clients and for anybody else who wants to watch them and put them on the website. And this one's going to be called They'll See You Coming or something like that. I don't know what we'll call it, but that's not important. What's important is the idea here is that these videos are going to be intended to show clients and defendants of any lawyer how to behave and how not to behave in court. The things that I'm going to talk about become more important as you approach the trial, but never forget that there's you only get one chance to make a first impression. So they could be just as important the first day of a case when there's no jury around. But let's talk about, in this particular video, when you're going to go to trial. This is a jury trial day, and there are certain rules about what you should do and what you shouldn't do when you're a defendant in a case that a jury has been requested and is about to come up from the jury pool. One of the things that you have to do is assume that somebody's watching you all the time. Well, before a trial, of course, the jurors do not know who you are in most cases. In high-profile cases, they do, and those will require a lot more instruction from me. But in general, if you're going to have a jury trial, the jury's not going to know who you are, especially in a big county like Dallas. Sometimes there will be somebody that knows you or knows me, but they don't count because we'll find them. It's the people you don't know and that you think don't know you that you've got to watch out for on the jury. Because once they see you in court, they will be watching you, even if they don't pretend to be, or they pretend that they're not paying much attention to you. The ones that count on a jury, the jurors that are important, will be paying a lot of attention to the way you act. So you have to assume from the very word go that the jurors are watching you. Even before you meet them, you have to assume they're watching you. Because if you do something in the presence of a juror, even though he does not know or she does not know that she'll be sitting on your jury, and you don't know who they are because you haven't seen the jury panel yet, it's possible that you do something in front of somebody in or near that courthouse, and particularly in or near the courtroom itself, that will be remembered by a juror later. They'll say, oh, that's the guy that did such and such this morning. So you must, basically, I tell my clients, when you leave your house, just assume that there is a juror or a judge watching everything you do. You need to be courteous to everybody, because you can actually win a big major trial by courtesy. And the way it works is this. Let's say you go out of your way to open the door for the little old lady who seems to have trouble getting through the throng of people going into the criminal courts in the morning. And you just happen to kind of clear the path for her, open the door, and she says, thank you, and you say, you're welcome, ma'am. And it just so happens that one of your prospective jurors is standing right there and watches it. It won't mean much to him at the time, but later on, if he recognizes that it was you that did that, then later on, when it comes time to decide whether or not you're guilty, that juror is predisposed to let you go. And in a lot of cases, the difference between winning and losing is really small and really slight. So you need somebody in the jury room to tip the balance over the fence, to pull the other jurors over with him or her. And that's just the kind of thing that can do it. Because when all things are equal, when the evidence is just as strong for acquittal as it is for conviction, given the burden of proof of the state, that's not what I'm talking about here. The point is that if you've got somebody on that jury that saw you do something good, and kind and nice and thoughtful, then that juror is on your side. The opposite is also true. If somebody sees you do something stupid or mean-spirited or thoughtless, then that juror is going to be able to remember that and point it out to the rest of the jury. Even though they're not supposed to talk about things that they saw outside the courtroom that's not from the witness stand, jurors do, because they're people just like you and me, and they do talk about and think about things they've seen outside the courtroom, because they know the things that they saw outside the courtroom, generally speaking, are not scripted. So be on your toes, be nice, and always assume somebody's watching you.